welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be updating you because I know y'all see my little hamster on my videos that I do short videos and stuff, but this one is actually an update about him. We no longer have him. We started like maybe I would say 3 weeks ago. He wasn't, I had noticed when I was looking at him in his cage, I noticed that he sort of looks strange from the bottom of his tail, and I was telling the kids, like, what is wrong with the hamster? Do y'all notice like a different change in his behavior? But I noticed it first and I was like, what is going on? And at first I didn't think anything of it, and then all of a sudden a couple of days later his head started to tilt. So he had a tilted head, and I was like, wait, that's not right. So you know me, Google over here, started googling hamster symptoms and stuff like that. So I was like, it might be an ear infection. Hopefully it's just an ear infection, you know. So I called the vet. The one that I take my dog to doesn't see hamsters or anything. They don't see exotic animals. So I was like, well, let me try to call the emergency vet that's open 24 hours. And unfortunately, when I did call, the the receptionist had said that they had changed that they don't see hamsters anymore, but because the vet that did previously, they had left, he didn't work there anymore. So then the new one that went, the new veterinarian that went to go work there doesn't do exotic animals. And I was like, oh my god, like, where do I call? And then she's like, well, if you really want to take him to go seen right away, you need to go out of state. And I was like, I can't afford to go out of state. So then I was like, you know what, let me just call PetSmart and set up an appointment, because that's where we got him from. So the nurse, when I called, the receptionist at PetSmart was like, no, we can't see him this weekend. He's not gonna get seen for about a week. And I was like, okay, whatever, just set up the appointment so we can go ahead and take him. So I told my son to take him we set up his appointment for Friday at 4 o'clock. So my son took him because I have to work, you know, so I couldn't miss work to go take him. So I was like, you know what, just go take him to the vet, go take him to PetSmart. They have someone there to see him. So my son took him. He said that he had bit the girl. He doesn't necessarily bite us because he's already used to us. Sometimes he would bite us here and there. Well, I mean, I guess he didn't like it because they were taking a look at his ears, and he had bit her a couple of times, but it's all right because they wear protective gloves and stuff like that. But anyways, long story short, it came out that the vet had said that he had an ear infection, so they prescribed him ear drops for his ears. And I was like, are you sure, like, hopefully this works. So we started giving it to him, and we would just place it in his ears once a day for 14 days, the vet said. That's where were the instructions. And he was getting better, but his cage was too sorry. Like, he had the glass cage in the bottom, and then he had stairs to climb up, and he had the other one on top, where he had his water and his food and his little toys and his little thing, the rolling thing that the hamsters get in to run around. And he was actually falling from up there downstairs, and I was like, we have to move him, like, this is not making him any better. So we decided to move him to another little cage, and he was fine in the big cage, but he was just falling, you know, because his neck was crooked. He was crooked for a long time, ever since we had noticed that there was something wrong with him. So, you know, we would, like I said, we would put his medicine once a day for 14 days. And then I told my son, you know what, let's just take him out, because what if his neck isn't getting better? Because his neck wasn't getting better. And I was like, just give it time. Let's see if this antibiotic's gonna work. And then I told my son, you know what, let's just move him because he's gonna keep on falling, because I would see him legit fall from the top to the bottom, and I was just like, oh my god, he just hurt himself more, like, bro. So the vet had said either, I forgot to mention that the vet had said either it's an ear infection or he has cancer. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, cancer? Like, what kind of cancer? Like, are you kidding me? Like, what? And his hair was falling out, and I was like, oh my god, hopefully he doesn't have cancer, you know. So they give us that medicine for his ear infection, because that's what he said he had, supposedly. And so then 2 weeks went by, and we had already moved him after about a week. So like about around 10 days, we moved him to another cage, and my son had the cage in his room. And my son had said that he didn't want to eat, and he did not tell me. I was like, how come you didn't tell me? You know, I would have set up another appointment, because we were going to set up another appointment because that medicine was obviously not working, because his head was still tilted and his eyes were kind of popped, one of his eyes was kind of popped out, and we were just like freaking out. And one day my son had came back from work, and he had noticed that he was looking into the house, but like I said, he hadn't ate for 2 days. And what's it called, and it's my fault because I thought he was still alive, but he wasn't. After he had stopped eating, he didn't want to eat. And then my son came from work in the morning, like I think it was 4 in the morning when he came, because he was working night shift. And my son told me that he had looked inside his cage, and he had noticed that there was still food everywhere. And then he noticed that the hamster was just dead. And I was like, oh my god, like, bro, what the hell? I was like, how come you didn't tell me, you know? But yeah, I didn't believe him at first. I was like, you're lying, like, don't be lying to me. And then I went into his room, and he had the little hamster in his box, in a shoebox. And I opened it, and I didn't believe him, and there he was, dead. And I was like, oh my god, like, what the hell? So we did have him for at least almost 2 years. It was gonna go already to 2 years. So hamsters typically live for 2 to 3 years, some even 5. He was a dwarf hamster. He was a little tiny hamster. And I told my kids, I was like, you know what, no more animals. We're not getting no more animals. Like, I'm done having animals. Like, the only animal we do have is our dog, and he's about what, I think he's what, I think he's about maybe 4 years old, getting there. But he's an indoor dog. He doesn't go out. Well, he goes out. We don't have him outside. He's an indoor animal. So yeah, we're not gonna get any more hamsters. I don't want it. I was like, that's it. Like, no, I'm not dealing with this anymore. So that's the update. So yeah, you guys. Anyways, I was so sad. The kids were sad too, and I was just like, because losing an animal is really hard. But like I was saying, we did have him for a while, so he did last for a long time. But I wanted to, you know, but there's no telling when an animal's gonna die, you know. You know what, maybe if we would have taken him to the vet again, and they would have said, hey, you know what, he has cancer, like, you know, like, dang, that would have been like a lot worse. But everything has a reason. Every animal, every person has a reason in this life. We all have a lifespan of what we're gonna live, how long we're gonna live, and there's no telling how long that's gonna be. But anyways, I just wanted to update y'all on what's going on. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, follow me on all my social medias, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.